Right, United have lost again, Adam. And now people think, just because we've lost a few games, all these pundits coming out of the woodwork, 12 in 25 league games, coming out of the woodwork, telling everyone how crap we are. So we've gone through, we've got some of the quotes from the weekend, and we want to hear your thoughts.
If you make me do this every week,
going on.
I'm going to go mental, you know.
Well, sometimes they might be
because half of these dicks don't know what they're talking about.
That's a very good point. Well, let's start with one of your favourite dicks of all time.
Whose is that?
Gabby Agbonlahor.
Why did I make it worse?
You made it worse. Right, here's what he said. He has to stop being stubborn, Ruben Amorim, or there's going to be serious trouble. First of all, sounds like a head teacher. Second of all, he's basically talking about this thing that a lot of people are saying. Amorim needs to change his system. He needs to work with the players he's got and not stick to his guns when it isn't working. What do you make of it?
I don't know if you've ever heard. I've not really said it on camera. Because it's a bit, you know, you don't say things that you hear. But I was once told by a personal trainer.
I already know what you're going to say. You've said it so many times on camera. Say it again.
I was once told by a personal trainer in Birmingham, probably about, just when I was in college maybe, like a long time ago. Oh God, that's depressing, isn't it? That was a long time ago. But yeah, I got told that Gabriel Agbonlahor is addicted to Quality Street. Like he fucking loves them. It's serious, I swear. Look here, cross my heart, hope to die. I got told that. It's true stories.
Not be addicted to tinned chocolate.
You can be, and he was.
Really?
Like he used to just wake up in the morning, every day was Christmas in his house. Yeah. Cracking open the Quality Street.
The little sellotape seal around the hexagon, just like strewn everywhere, little sellotape.
He loves
hexagons.
a big purple one.
He loves a big purple one.
Gabriel Agbonlahor.
Unbelievable.
Which explains his big fat head.
What do you make of what he said?
He's an idiot. Yeah. You know what I hate? Yeah. Look, I think Ruben Amorim's made some mistakes. And I think, like, I would have... Stop laughing, man.
Can't even get the image out of my head. Still got his kit on because he's not home.
He goes to sleep in his training gear so he can be there quicker and he can spend more time eating Quality Street.
Just wakes up, Quality Street.
What do you reckon was his favourite though?
I think it's the green triangle.
Oh, that's the worst one, man.
Yeah, that's why he likes it.
Or you know the worst one is the coffee one?
Yeah, the cream.
Or the strawberry cream.
That's too sweet. But he must love all of these.
He loves all of them.
Yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
You can't get enough of it. But, you know, a lot of these pundits and football fans and I've said this a few times, so I'm kind of repeating myself over the last 48 hours. But a lot of these people, right, Gary Neville included, like to talk about the need to change the culture at Manchester United. Like to talk about how many mistakes we've made in the transfer market. Like to talk about how a new manager needs to come in and be himself, needs to implement his style of play, needs to be given time to do that, needs to be given time to develop his squad, change his squad, get Manchester United, make United great again, all that kind of balls, right? But then none of them have actually got the patience to actually, for it to happen.
No.
And like, you're going to have to go through, look, I read a great article yesterday which said, was kind of alludes to the fact, it doesn't, just because you go through pain, it doesn't always mean that it's going to get better, right? Like, you know, remember Amorim said at the start, like, it's going to get more painful before it gets better. It doesn't necessarily mean it is going to, but you're going to have to give someone time to kind of find out what's going on.
Yeah.
And I like Ruben Amorim. Maybe talk is very cheap, innit? But I think he always says the right things a lot of the time. I think he's been dealt a bad hand. I think you look at our squad, it's a little bit all over the place. It's not suited to his style of play. We've had to let go of a couple of players. Look, Anthony had to go. I don't care how many goals you score for Real Betis, he had to go. Marcus Rashford, unfortunately, for both him and the club, had to move on. And we haven't replaced those players. Replacing those players, is that down to the manager's problems? No. Like, those are PSR issues that were there before he got there. Amad Diallo gets injured, our whole midfield get injured. Like, do you want to give a manager time or not?
I know.
And I know that doesn't mean you can just lose every game and everything's all right. But the league campaign's basically done. It's been done for a long time. And whilst I think it's easy to say, players should just be up for every game, I think once your season's over and you're not fighting for anything, it's very easy to take your foot off the gas and maybe not be at it completely. And again, I repeat myself on this as well. I'm glad that he's been given this time with them now, even though he would have ideally come in the summer, because in the summer some of these players are just going to pull the wool over your eyes, and he's going to get to see the real them right now. Yeah. So I'm happy with that. As for the quality street munchers quote, let's see what he said. He has to stop being stubborn, or there's going to be serious trouble. All great managers are stubborn.
Yeah.
It's their way or the highway.
Yeah. You've got to be like that, because otherwise, what are you? Just pandering to the players. Then all you're relying on is the players already having the right mindset, the right ideas, no one's like that. Humans aren't like that. You need someone who can guide them and shape them. And obviously you get the right players in for the manager, but it has to work back and forth. It can't just be the players get to do what they want and the manager's happy to be here. That's not going to work, is it?
Do you remember when Erik ten Hag said, I can't play the football I want to play, or I used to play, or what?
At Ajax, yeah. I can't play the way I did at Ajax, yeah.
People went mad.
People slagged him off.
So why are you here?
Yeah.
And now someone's doing that, the opposite to that, and they're going, what are you doing? You got to change. And then all this talk about, bring it back. Guess where we were in a back four?
Yeah, exactly.
13th.
It comes back to what you said. It's the perfect point that people know in their heads that it's going to be hard and we're going to have to go through hard times and it's going to get worse before it gets better. But people don't actually want to live that reality. People aren't actually willing to be in it while it is as bad as it is. Because you think, well, we know it has to get worse before it gets better, but you didn't mean it, did you? What you actually meant is we're going to go 8th and then 4th and then 2nd and then 1st. That's what people want. But it might be, look at Chelsea last season and the last couple of seasons. They were flirting with relegation under Frank Lampard. And now, I know they spent $1 billion, but they're not using all those players. They're using about 6 of them. They're challenging for top 4, and who knows where they could be in a year or two. So, yeah, we have to accept that when someone says it's going to get worse before it gets better, and it does get worse, that's the reality. Let's move on. Then Michael Owen's talking about a similar thing as well. He said, it's not going to get any better for Manchester United, and they don't look like a team at all. I like the manager, I like what he says in his demeanour, but I don't like his team, and it's hard to see it getting any better. Do you think these players can improve with maybe a couple of supplements, maybe,
supplement?
I'm not saying get them on steroids. I mean, supplement this squad with some new players. Or do you think we kind of have to rip this up and start again?
I always think with United, it's either we're doing well and everything's fucking rosy, or we're doing a little bit bad and everything's dreadful.
Yeah. When
you look at the squad, I think there's some players in there that you can use and you can build around for the future. De Ligt, Lenny Yoro, Lisandro Martinez, maybe Harry Maguire, although I'd consider cashing in on him. I think my head's gone with Onana now.
Yeah.
But then you look at the back line, okay, Dorgu's come in, you got Mazraoui, Delo. I think you need another one in there. The midfield, I think Manuel Ugarte could become a mainstay of that midfield. Yeah. So I think it's finding the right partner for him. Is that going to be Bruno? Is that going to be Kobe? Is Kobe going to be used further forward? And then I think the main problem for me is people keep talking about the back 3, back 5, whatever they want to say. But our problem's been further up the pitch. Yeah. It hasn't actually been defensively. How many chances
have we missed? Fair enough, if we'd never created any, I'd be worried. But we literally miss big chances, good chances, all the time. You can't, if you're getting the ball in front of the goal and your attackers are having shots, no system in the world can put the ball in the back of the net for you. Garnacho missing that shot against Tottenham is nothing to do with the system. That header from Xerxes, where he just doesn't quite get enough on it. A better striker puts that in, both of them. You can't. All a manager can do is limit the chances the opposition has and help his team make more chances. We literally miss more big chances than anyone.
I know that's our mental, yeah. Xerxes some player, He's some fucking
He is.
Player.
In some areas, he is.
He's so good.
He's got a lot of attributes that are really good.
Mate, he's so
He just needs to be able to score, though.
He just needs the right partner as well. It made me think about, imagine you get Rashford and that running either side of him.
I know. I might have to forget about that dream.
He reminds me a lot of Anthony Martial,
Does he?
I think Martial got in better positions in front of goal and he took his chances better.
Better finisher.
But Martial was, yeah. But that the tricky feet and the ability to just absolutely meg someone silly and break the lines and stuff like that. I think if you get him closer to the pitch, to the box, final third, doing that, and players make the right run. This is my thing with Rasmus Højlund. I've defended him for a long time, innit? And I thought his first season when he got 16 goals.
16.
And you looked at that and you think, it's not great. But then you look at how Manchester United were playing and you thought, oh God, he's done well there to get 16 goals because we're horrendous. You look at his form in Europe, it's been pretty good.
Very good.
But then he just doesn't seem to do the basics right or try and do the basics right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you were asked, I'll ask you now, you got to sell one in the summer, Xerxes or Højlund, who are you selling?
For me, just Xerxes.
See, for me, it's the other way.
Yeah, but
because I can see there's something with Xerxes there, and it's just, look, I think Højlund will go on to be a very good goal scorer, whether that's at Man United or not. He's very young at the moment. The underlying stats show that generally he's a decent, but he's just not doing the basics, man.
No,
like, he can't hold the ball up. He can't bring others into play. He's not getting his shots away. He's not getting into the position. And then when he was in a position to score yesterday, Garnacho can't find him.
Yeah, that's a big issue. Not Garnacho in particular, but people not being able to find the attacker.
But good strikers make...
No, they do. They find space and they find ways that they do. Steve Nicol, who we...
Well, sorry, I'm Michael, because you asked me about Michael.
Yeah.
It's hard to see it getting any better. It's not. It's really not. You had one or two good players in the mix. You have a squad that isn't, absolutely shot to bits. And I don't like a midfielder, a wing back, a striker, maybe another one in those wide positions just off the striker. And I think maybe you start to see the team turn around quite quickly.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, Steve Nicol, who we've criticised a lot on various shows on this channel down the years, actually made a decent point, I think. He said, initially, after 4 or 5 games, I was thinking he had to change something. But then I realised that he's going to try with what I've got to play this way. That he's going to try with what I've got to play this way, and let's stick to it, because I keep changing it and I tried to do different things, and these players are not capable of raising their level regardless of how I play. Which is a roundabout way of kind of saying what you said, which is even when we were playing 4 at the back with 2 in front of them, we were 13th. So you might as well stick to your style and not have that criticism that Ten Hag got of he's abandoned his principles because he can't win matches. I do agree with that. Let's move on to Gary Neville. He said,
"Oh, Gary!
I know he's had so much stick on social media.
Meanwhile, he's like
24 hours.
proper fighting for Ange.
I know,
and he can't afford a new Manchester United manager any grace.
Shame in it. He said the distance between the 2 midfielders for United is all wrong. Look where Fernandes is. Look where Casemiro is. It breaks all the rules of football. It's absolute madness. The structure of the team is awful. The 2 in midfield are split. It's embarrassing. You wouldn't see under 9s. You wouldn't see this in under 9s football. Look at that space in midfield. Shocking."
Well, I don't know if you noticed, Gary, but when Christian Eriksen and Casemiro played together, I think we all looked around and went, fucking hell, we can't see that ever again in midfield.
It's Newcastle.
And guess what? Casemiro was back in midfield. And I love Casemiro. I think he deserves huge amounts of respect for his career.
Yeah.
I think he was good for 6 to 12 months for Man United at the start. But again, it's clearly a transfer that hasn't worked. He spent most of his time on his arse. Like, do you not go, hold on a minute, why is Casemiro playing? Because Ugarte, Cobby, Toby Collier and everyone else fucking injured.
Yeah.
Like, do you not put 2 and 2 together and like, what's going through your mind here?
And also, you wouldn't see this in under 9s football. Yeah, you would. Under 9s is shit. Under 9s is shit, Adam. I've seen some under 9s football, right? Not a weird amount, but just the normal, what you'd expect amount. I've played some of it. Awful. Way worse than Casemiro.
When's the last time you played under 9s football?
A couple months ago. I split myself into 2 and they were both under 9. Ouch. Let's cut that. Right. Under 9s is shit. They are worse than that. That's unfair, that. I didn't say you couldn't write it. You go, well, you could. This is exactly what you would write. Absolute bollocks.
Also, guess what? Garnacho takes his chance and fucking also passes to Højlund. Man United win.
Yeah, exactly. But Neville, he seems to have just gone completely off the deep end, hating everything, doesn't he?
Gary.
I know. Right, then finally, Stephen Warnock, talking on Sky, says, I don't like the system. I don't think it works. You have to have the right players to play it. They don't have the right players to play it. He's hell-bent on playing it, and he'll intend to keep on playing it.
No fucking shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
What do you... A manager's supposed to just change. Like, I understand playing to what you have and trying to get the best results, but this is a guy that has to drill into this team what he is doing. Yeah. If he goes around going, you know what, this week we're not going to play a back 3. This week I'm going to throw away all my principles. Then next week when he decides to go back to his principles, the players are going to be like, well, a minute ago I use Ange. Remember when Ange got, and I kind of rated him for this whilst also criticising him for it, so I understand I'm a bit of a hypocrite. But remember against that Chelsea team when they went 9 men, they were down to 9 men?
Yep.
And they just kept attacking.
Still do the same thing.
But it was because it was so early days in his tenure, he couldn't go against his principles that he was setting. Yep. So he had to go, you know what, we're going to live and die by this. Because if you then go to the players, lads, everyone back, park the bus, they're going to go, hold on a minute, this guy said he was principled and he wants to stick to his principles. Now all of a sudden we're not.
Yeah, you can't do
Like,
it.
you have to stick to your guns, man.
It comes back to what you said at the start. People don't want to admit that it's actually going to be shit for a bit. And again, it may never get better, but it's not going to get better overnight by Amorim sacrificing what he's been saying for the last 4 months.
And it's not going to get better if you lay in bed all day eating quality street.
Yeah, that much we know. Thank you very much for joining us. Get us your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you in a bit.